Okay, I'll read back a little bit. Yeah. Daniel felt a bit guilty, but knowing that others might try to obey Quran 111, 38, and 39, he quickly got back up into the cab where he picked up the CB and said with shaky hands, "I don't think Sally meant to kill your fellow. He seems dead and will need help if he isn't, especially being that I accidentally fell on him. But if you try to kill us, expect more of the same. We're not going to let you Allahu Akbar our heads off without a fight. We won't go gentle into that good night." Daniel turned off the recording of the camera, then started it up again. He was about to jump out of the driver's side door to pick up the gun lying on the highway, but the sound of gunfire and bullets whizzing by kept him inside the cab. Another Muslim from the SUV came Allahu Akbaring with a machine gun in his hands. As the machine gun bullets started striking and shattering away the fiberglass siding of Daniel's cab and putting holes in the windshield, Daniel, without looking, used what was left of his mirror to fire in the direction of the approaching jihadi while holding up the shield. The jihadi was almost parallel to Daniel's cab and firing constantly, adding more bullets to the thick, heavy metal. Daniel's adrenaline managed to hold up as he stood crouched on the driver's seat. Sally screamed as the bullets just whizzed past her and put holes in the roof over her head. Daniel fired blindly, using the guy's shouting of Allahu Akbar direct into the area where he felt he might have to fire into for striking. Unbeknownst to the charging jihadi, his shout of Allahu Akbar allowed Daniel to play a deadly game of Marco Polo and blindly sent bullets thundering into his direction while hiding behind the shield. When the Magnum was empty, Daniel quickly switched to the Glock and rapidly fired it. As Daniel fired away, the shout of Allahu Akbar became an Allahu Akbar, followed by a clicking sound from being out of bullets. "It's over," said Daniel to the terrified Sully as she braced for the Muslim to jump up and spray machine gun bullets into the cab. Sully looked like she was reaching for something, but things were silent and mere moments started stretching into the minute range. Daniel and Sully looked cautiously out the driver's side window and saw the jihadi lying dead at the step of Daniel's cab. The machine gun was still smoking in his hands, while chunks of flesh missing from his back as the bullets shot through him. Daniel felt sick at what he had done. But the knowing that the jihadi bullets would have probably got the both of them made the sick feeling ease up a bit. Daniel looked at the Kenworth behind him and saw that the Muslim he first shot was sitting in the middle of the road with a shocked expression on his face. Those in the Kenworth then helped him into the truck. While helping their fellow jihadi, Daniel quickly picked up the CB mic. He calmed down his shaky hands and said, "I now not only have 3 handguns in my possession, it looks like I now have an Uzi. Quite illegal for damn sure. You guys are really starting to make me look quite the badass. And very newsworthy. Keep it up. Maybe I'll someday end up with an atom bomb in my truck." There was no answer over the CB. Daniel then said, "I'm going to continue on my destination. I'll be leaving the door open to reveal my cannon. If it catches the attention of the highway patrol, so be it. I now have all the video proof that should make a whole lot of news and get those CDs activated if I'm stopped and searched by a cop now. A voice was heard laughing over the CB. Dreamer! The police work for us now. They won't report that thing to the news, even if you had an atom bomb in your truck. The media works for us now. We bought your media. Daniel started up the truck with a lot of laughter coming in over the CB. He headed the truck down the road to his destination with the Kenworth and SUV following close behind him. What a joke. He thinks that little cannon is going to make him famous, laughed a voice over the CB. Daniel looked in what was left of his mirror and saw the Kenworth and SUV stop. 4 guys could be seen picking up the lifeless bodies of the jihadis who went forth in all his cause, end quote, fulfilling Quran 911 about being killed for Allah. Sally said softly, "We have just signed our death warrants, haven't we?" Daniel thought and said, "Well, it's kind of damned if we did and damned if we didn't. Ever heard the expression, better to be dead than be a slave? If not, do you know anyone you can room with who won't turn you in for a few $1,000,000? I'm sorry I got you into this mess. Of course, if I don't try to expose Islam, who pray tell will? As the expression also goes, for evil to prevail, good men have to do nothing. Well, it goes something like that." Minutes later, a lot of noise was heard as chains were striking pavement. Daniel's dispatcher was back on the phone, trying to find out why in the hell the truck was parked so long on Highway 6. "Were you building a snowman now, Danny?" asked Daniel's dispatcher Desmond with an angry tone. "No," said Daniel. "Just trying to keep my head from sitting on my ass due to my little hobby of exposing Islam on the side. That's all." Desmond responded with, "Things are bad now. Highway piracy is a daily situation for truckers as people scrounge for food and supplies, Dan. I'm warning you. You will be branded a hater if you blame it on Muslims. It's been that way since the Willis Tower went down. And where do you think you'll be if that happens? Any guesses?" "True," said Daniel. "But I have the video proof with me this time. And I'll be setting up that proof in such a way where it can't be hidden from the Muslim-controlled media. The video camera is the best weapon we have in the war on terror." And as Desmond went on and on about how he might have to have Daniel fired for not only being late, but for having Muslims threaten deliveries as well, Daniel and Sully continued to keep an eye on the 2 vehicles behind them. There was a sound of whispering. There was a sound of whispers coming in over the CB in Daniel's cab. "We have got to stop him before a cop stops him," shouted a voice. "He not only has a cannon, he has Hussein's machine gun now for killing Umar ibn Malik, and taking it. Oh man, Hussein must be furious. That's what he gets for being nice to Umar. What if his cannon does make news?" said a voice with fear. A voice, not knowing it was being broadcast over the CB, said in Arabic, "I haven't given up on the power of Allah to change minds. Why else would Muhammad place so much emphasis on being a jihadi of the pen, as well as sword? We failed at changing the objectionable thing with our hands. I haven't given up on trying to change the objectionable thing with the tongue. Okay, so we underestimated his weaponry. Let's concentrate on the words again. Let's concentrate with the tongue. Muhammad, may Allah pray on him and give him blessing, said, quote, the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr. Unquote. Let's keep it that way for now. Let's keep it that way for now. When that saying of Muhammad about scholar ink being better than martyr blood, when that saying of Muhammad about scholar ink being better than martyr blood, the Muslim who came charging out of the SUV and was first to be shot by Daniel, gasped out in pain delivered English, the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr? The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr? Yeah. When the saying of Muhammad about scholar ink being better than martyr blood hit the ears of the Muslim who was shot, the Muslim, I've got to change that. That thing needs to be worked on. Anyway, when the saying of Muhammad about scholar ink being better than martyr blood registered in the mind of the Muslim who came charging out of the SUV and was the first to be shot by Daniel, he gasped out in pain delivered English. When the saying of Muhammad about scholar ink being better than martyr blood registered in the mind of the Muslim who came charging out of the SUV and was the first to be shot by Daniel, he gasped out in pain delivered English, the ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr? The ink of the scholar is more sacred than the blood of the martyr? Yes, brother. Well, now you tell me, gasped the very perturbed Muslim due to being shot and almost martyred. Daniel and Sully laughed, hoping his dispatcher Desmond heard it, but his dispatcher instead was too busy hearing himself preach the value of being on time. When Daniel thought Desmond hung up, Daniel looked at Sally and said, sometimes I think maybe I should let the Muslim saw my head off. Sally laughed. Who are you talking to? Asked Desmond. Is it a crime to think out loud? Asked Daniel. Desmond hung up. Desmond hung up. The leading voice from the Kenworth continued in Arabic with, we need to put more thought into our attack on him with our words. Get the computer ready. Another voice then said nervously in Arabic, we failed in hand and tongue so far, brothers, leaving only our heart. According to Muhammad, may Allah pray on him and give him blessing, if we fail in both hand and tongue, when trying to change the thing that is objectionable, we are then left with only our heart, which to Muhammad, may Allah pray on him and give him blessing, means we then have the weakest form of faith. The weakest form of faith, brothers. Another voice then jumped in and asked, really? Does that mean quadriplegics are atheists? They have the weakest form of faith since they can't change anything with their hand. Do they not? They can still talk and get someone to change something objectionable, shouted a voice. Suddenly, one said in English, what if no one is around to help them change the objectionable? Are they then atheists, being that they would be the weakest form of faith? Shut up, was the voice.